You know, there's a saying, it's the small things in life that matters. Well, for one, Matilda Telly Mae Garrison, or Hill when she was married to Cotton Hill, it's the miniatures that matter most to her, especially since it's the world she goes into in order to escape the horrific situations she was in when she was married to the pint-sized army veteran.
I'll help you with your dishes.
Mom?
And I understand the need for an escape from the world into the safe comfort of a miniature wonder, marveling the tiny details and how the artist took to make it. But poor Hank didn't have that kind of escape to go to. He had to deal with his crazy dad while being in high school, not knowing what to do, having to ask what he should do. But that's in the past. There's no way her obsession with the micro trinkets still take hold even to her current age, right?
Don't they look happy? They like it here.
Oh. Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're talking about King of the Hill, Season 3, Episode 17, Escape from Party Island, where Hank must accompany his mom and her entourage of senile miniature fanatics as they travel to the beautiful Port Aransas, where little do they know, it's taken over by a gathering of wild savages, otherwise known as MTV's Spring Break. And they have to fight across a sea of drunken, crazy college hooligans to escape the chaos of Party Island and the dreaded water-squirting menace known as Rockadillo. And while this is happening, Bill is trying to, I don't know how you youngsters say this, but, riz up Peggy. And well, let's see how this crazy episode plays out. Grab some snacks, some drinks, and let's get into the episode. Escape from Party Island. Party Hoots? Can I help you? You're reviewing an episode about a party island, and you had the nerve not to ask if I wanted to put my input into this? It's literally my thing. I'm Party Hoot. You think I wouldn't have a thing or two to add here? Okay, you can chime in from time to time. I really should have known you'd want to be a part of this episode. Now that all the interruptions are done, let's get to the episode. The episode starts with the boys hanging out in their usual spot, and they wonder if Hank's worried about his mom, talking about how they're supposed to be here 2 hours ago.
She and her friends were supposed to get here 2 hours ago. Why she had to take on all this highway driving at her age just to see a museum of miniatures?
Oh, the one at Port Aransas?
Yes.
Already we get insight into how Hank feels about his mom and her hobby. I really appreciate shows and movies that show and not tell and just exposition dump plot. Bill makes the conversation awkward as always, as Hank waits for his mom and her friends to arrive. Bobby trying to add prop humor as his mom finally arrives, and we're introduced to Tilly's version of the boys.
Blueberry pancakes mean blueberries in the pancakes, not buttermilk grill cakes with blue sauce on top.
They brought you new ones.
That's not the point.
It was horrible.
This is Lillian. She's delicate.
Pleased to meet you, Lillian.
Oh,
That was much too sudden.
Which basically is the discount Golden Girls. Funny enough, Delia is voiced by Betty White, one of the Golden Girls, which I didn't know until the making of the script for the episode. And Lillian is voiced by Phyllis Diller, an amazing cast of characters that will surely make the trip an absolute nightmare for Hank as the episode goes on. Hank tries to talk her out of going to the trip, claiming the van is too much for her, and she says that she has to, since she's the youngest.
Maureen's only 10 years older, but she lost her license.
It was took last March.
Delia gets angry.
The doctor calls it road rage. Oh, I'll drive. It's only been 40 years. We are talking about a bicycle.
Now, while looking at the King of the Hill wiki, It says that Lillian is voiced by Phyllis Diller, but the unnamed elderly blonde woman that said that she'll drive clearly sounds like she's voiced by Phyllis Diller. So either she's talking in a softer tone for Lillian and using her regular voice for the, and I'm going by what the wiki calls her, the unnamed elderly blonde woman, which they really should have stated that she also was voiced by Phyllis Diller, but that's just a nitpick I noticed. Seeing as that he has no other choice, he volunteers to drive the rest of the way to Port Aransas so they can get to the Museum of Miniatures without causing mayhem on the road. I mean, this is 10 seasons before she gets the RV with her just married husband Chuck in the episode The Honeymooners, and I doubt she really doesn't have road rage even at this point, so maybe it's a good idea that Hank takes over from here.
Jackass.
Now, to be fair, a van is definitely a lot smaller vehicle compared to an RV, but still, the road rage. The boys make some jokes about Hank going to the Museum of Miniatures, and Hank puts them in their place, I tell you what.
Very funny, guys. I can't think of anything funnier than a man having to take care of his mother. Oh, that's just hilarious. You think your mother would find that funny, Dale?
Not the way you tell it.
Hank tries to make conversation about the local Texas flora.
The wildflowers sure are lovely this spring. I always say there's nothing like Texas wildflowers.
You think we Arizonans don't have flowers?
I never said that.
Dilly, that boy of yours just called me a liar.
I did not.
Hank, just apologize to Delia.
But I never said...
Delia gets a little out of sorts when her blood sugar falls low. Otherwise, she's lovely. Here's a piece of hard candy, dear.
Wow, Delia went right after that piece of candy like we Hoots do when we unwrap a delicious chalky rat. A rat-shaped delicacy made of graham cracker and caramel dipped in smooth rich milk chocolate. Moving on. Peggy washed the screen glass door, singing Uptown Girl, when Bill off-key jumps in, clearly making her uncomfortable, trying to put the moves on Peggy. And to give credit, it does work at first, but then he starts acting like Bill, completely derailing all Riz before it even started. And look, I'm not saying if he hadn't have started smearing his nasty stained shirt on the glass door that Peggy spent all that time cleaning, that he would riz her away from Hank like some barbecue-stained Casanova. But you have to admit that Bill does have charm and charisma. It's just his insecurities and outer appearance that sets him back. That, and he has a tendency to be nasty and gross, and desperate for any kind of attention and love, that he gets into situations where he easily gets taken advantage of by anyone that gives him the slightest bit of attention. There are episodes that show this, and sometimes it's even Hank that inadvertently is the cause of it, or sets the dominoes up to fall where he gets taken advantage of, like the episode Collecting Moss, when Principal Moss becomes Bill's roommate and it escalates to a shady Russian guy slinging bootleg movies from their house. But that's another episode. But more importantly, do you really think he could swoon Peggy of all people away from Hank? Even Nancy would laugh in his face before closing the door and going back to her headache treatment from Jahan Redcorn. Hank tries to turn on the radio, and the discount Golden Girls bicker.
Radio makes Lillian carsick.
You can't get car sick from a radio. Car sick's an inner ear thing. Turn on the radio.
I'd prefer not to risk it.
I was a nurse for 40 years. I know all about car sick.
I've never been carsick in my life.
What should I do?
The problem with you is you never know what to do.
You just met me.
I know your kind.
Would you please turn on the radio?
Bobby and Joseph ride bikes, and Bill acts weird.
You know how your mother and I worry about you.
You know she worries about you too, Mr. Dotrieve.
She does?
I guess, I don't know.
Look, Bill, it's one thing to be weird around Peggy, but don't get weird around Bobby and Joseph. they see Port Aransas in the horizon and marvel at its splendor, wishing it were a miniature island.
So I guess all of you are as crazy for miniatures as my mom, huh?
I wouldn't use the word crazy. To the miniatures.
To the
Miniatures.
There's a nice musical transition that pans over to the hotel they're staying at. I know I'm just nitpicking random parts to ramble, but that is a nice musical choice, like a snapshot from an old photo book or a memory long forgotten. Yeah, I listened to every rarity in the time. It was a transcending experience, and I'm glad that I took the time to listen to. Okay, let's get back to the review. Hank is awakened at 4:45 a.m. as Tilly and the Discount Golden Girls are already dressed for the Museum of Miniatures.
It's not even 5 a.m.
That kind of attitude is not going to get you ready any faster.
Okay. Will you ladies just give me a few minutes to shave?
No.
Another nice transition, and it seems they arrived a tad early.
Looks like we might have gotten here a little early.
What's the big joke?
It's not a joke.
Then it's us, isn't it? Apparently we amuse you in some way.
I wish.
They observe the works of Lyle Neff, which in my opinion looks a lot like Vincent Price to me, being voiced by Stephen Root.
That's a nice looking, seal.
It is an otter. Lyle Neff would never waste his time on seals. Seals are trash mammals. Everybody knows that.
Man, Delia really don't like seals. I don't know if that's discrimination, but how can anyone not like the sea peppers? Now, if we're talking about the giant walrus from Pengu's Dream, now that's nightmare fuel. They have lunch at the tea house, and they all order cucumber sandwiches, and Hank gets himself a hamburger.
The cucumber sandwiches are delicious here.
I don't like cucumber.
I apologize for my son.
Come on, Mom, you don't have to apologize for me.
Apparently I do.
First of all, Hank's expression is hilarious. But why did you order for Hank when you should have known that he doesn't like cucumbers? I get it, you're old, and you always order what you always order. It's a routine thing, really. I have mine, and I know if something doesn't flow right with me, it messes me up for a bit, and I have to recalibrate so I don't mess things up. But since you should be used to saying 5 cucumber sandwiches, that means you ordered for Hank, not caring if he wanted one of your coveted cucumber sandwiches. Hank goes to say goodnight to his mom, and she starts acting weird about her miniatures. And we get the flashback to Hank looking to Tilly, asking what he should do with her in her own little miniature world. Again, I understand there's nothing wrong with having an escape, but not when your teenage son is asking what to do when you're off in La La Miniland. Be a mom and tell Cotton to calm his short down. But of course, Tilly doesn't. Peggy and Luann are doing some cleaning when Bill creeps in, saying he has a copy of their key.
It's probably a good thing I held on to it, too. After all, you never know.
I want it back now.
He volunteers to take the trash out right to his house. Remember when I said he has a tendency to be gross and off-putting? We can just add creepy to that list too now. Hank gets himself some real food and runs into what he thinks are just normal people, but we see that's not the case as more begin to walk in. Hank going on about the day he's had, not realizing the MTV spring break semi rolling in. And if Hank thought 500 years of old lady was bad, just wait until he deals with a few thousand years of drunk hooligans during spring break. Which reminds me, Party, where are you? What? Oh, sorry. I fell asleep when the whole boring old lady stuff and miniatures. What part are we on now again?
Hey, you kids, knock it off.
Finally, we can get to Party, the music, the drinking. Hank trying to escape Port Aransas, while the, the Discount Golden Girls making it worse. Now it's getting interesting.
And none of you heard any of that last night?
No.
Ah, it's back to the old folks plot. Man, calm down. Hank has to deal with them hooligans for the rest of the episode, so it's fine. Speaking of which, Hank tries to drive through the slow traffic of drunken partygoers as they try to make their way to the museum. And at this point, it should have been a good idea for them to just cut the trip short and leave before the island gets too chaotic. What? No, it's finally getting good. A nice party. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, trust me, it can. And it does. Hank suggests a buddy system.
Hank, you're making too much out of this.
Mom, that fella asked you to show him your high beams. Now, do you even know what he meant?
Of course I do. I've been driving longer than you.
No, Mom, what he meant was...
She sees a mini unicorn, and this can't possibly cause any more problems. Let's put a pin on this and head back to Arlen and see how Peggy and the Hills are doing. At the Pink and White, they somehow run into Bill.
Peggy! Isn't it funny we ran into each other here just by chance? I didn't even know you shopped at this market.
It's the one closest to the house, Bill.
I think so, too. You know what I'm shopping for?
Food?
I didn't ask you, all right? I'm having a barbecue this afternoon. See you there.
No, you will not.
Back at Port Aransas, they try to have lunch as it quickly devolves into chaos.
Oh! God.
All right, gentlemen and ladies.
Oh, hey, look, it's Pauly Shore, the Weasel! Wow, that's a really good choice for the voice of the character DJ. You know, they really could have easily just put him as himself. I mean, they made the character look like Pauly Shore to a T. Why not take the opportunity and have Pauly Shore play himself? Also, it's funny how the discount Golden Gals are clapping, not knowing what's going on, but being polite and clapping anyways. Hank tries to make a way back to the van, wading through the ocean of partygoers, trying to buddy up.
She ate the last scone.
And it was delicious.
He sees the guys he saw last night and thinks they can help. They do not.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to let that happen.
The problem with you is you never mean to let anything happen. It's a horrible, empty way to live.
Bill is still barbecuing, and Dale walks in, Bill pathetically thinking that Hank left Peggy. Bill, Peggy doesn't need your barbecue, as delicious as it may be. Hey, he may be creeping on his friend's wife, but that doesn't mean he can't grill some good food. Bill's a Cajun man after all. Barbecue is in his blood. And so is syrup. Back at Port Aransas, Hank sees a novelty bumper sticker and takes it literally.
How's my driving? I'll tell you. Mom, write this number down. 1-800-EATSH. Never mind.
DJ talks about Adam Sandler performing live as Hank walks back to his hotel room, frustrated by the gang of drunken partygoers. You know, it's funny that they say Adam Sandler is performing, but they could have easily have made Rockadillo be Adam in disguise. I can see them doing something like this in the late 90s. This was during the golden years of Adam Sandler movies and Pauly Shore movies, but it's also cool that Johnny Hardwick was the one that voiced him. Rest in peace. I know you're looking down at us smiling in your bugabago in the sky. Hank packs his stuff as the Golden Gals complain they're not able to see the Glade of Elsinore.
The Glade of Elsinore is crafted from real flowers. That means the pigments fade, stupid.
I don't care. We're leaving.
Oh, you're impossible.
The party gets crazy as Hank tries to lift the mood by telling them it'll be good when these drunk youngsters are miniatures in their rearview mirror, but they aren't too happy with Hank. When Tilly realizes that she forgot the unicorn and the gals are devastated.
We'll miss the ferry. I can't.
Hank, tiny glass unicorns are as hard to find as a real unicorn. I can't leave without mine.
Now I've had enough, Mom. Forget unicorn and all these stupid little dolls from when you went weird.
Oh, Delia was right. Hank, you are impossible.
Which one of you is Delia?
She is.
I could commit you like that.
Tilly leaves the van to retrieve her mini mystical creature as he is forced to leave the van to find his mom. After getting coffee for the discount Golden Gals, he asks Brad Pitt if he's seen an elderly lady, and he gets set up to get soaked by a diver.
What? I don't see why I need to...
Yo, gotcha!
Man, Hank is so gullible, it's hilarious. I know, right? It's like he doesn't realize when people are messing with him. You think Hank is on the autism spectrum? I'm not making fun of him, I'm legit curious. I mean, if you think about Hank's Hankisms, you can really make a good case that can prove that he's on the spectrum. But anyways, back at Harlem, Bobby is at his baseball game, sitting at the dugout, as Bill sits by them, obviously overstepping his boundaries, causing a scene about why the coach isn't playing Bobby, and Peggy finally gives him what he deserves.
Get your arm off me!
Oh yeah! Come on, Cougars! Come on! Woo, woo, woo!
Hank returns to the museum and asks Lyle if he's seen his mom, and lets out more frustrations about the miniatures, and Lyle sets him straight.
What?
Miniatures probably saved your mother's life.
What's that supposed to mean?
Do you know how hard it is to be a woman in this world? I do. Women come in here all the time, and they are sad, and they are lonely, and they are frumpy, and they tell me how my tiny, individually handcrafted investment-grade art is the only thing keeping them sane. Do you understand? Does that sound like your mother?
You know, I get what he's saying, but Tilly was ignoring Hank having to deal with his dad and didn't do anything. And that was just one incident we see. Imagine 4 years of that going on. But yes, I guess Lyle was right about the miniatures keeping Tilly sane, if you call that sane. Hank says he owes someone an apology, and Lyle thinks he means him. He gets Tilly a miniature.
It's the Los Angeles International Airport carved in a walnut shell.
Oh, look at the detail.
Things get crazy as they make a mad dash to the ferry when he finds that Maureen is missing. Going to the photo booth to take a picture, but Hank gets a surprise when he opens the curtain.
Takes 2 minutes to develop.
Oh wow, Hank wasn't ready for that spring break surprise, that's for sure. Party. Seriously? Just when Hank thinks things can't get any worse.
They passed her over the crowd like a beach ball.
Oh.
Wait, how did they get her from the van to the stage? Did they grab her out of the van? That's kidnapping! What? Hank makes his way to the stage, battling Rockadillo, having his glasses taken before kicking Rockadillo off stage and taking his water gun, using it to make a way to the van. The night falls as the party goes on. They get close to the ferry when they experience...
Everybody stay calm. We just experienced severe tire damage.
You said you'd get us out of here. Tilly, your boy is all talk. I hate you.
Despite not wanting to drive on the rims, he makes a last-minute stretch to the ferry. The episode ending with a funny line from Lillian.
Look, everyone. Port Aransas. Oh, I can't wait to get there.
There's an after-credit scene where Hank thanks Bill for watching over Peggy while he was gone.
Bill? Oh, sorry about that. And, thanks for looking after Peggy for me, Bill.
Ow! It won't happen again, Hank.
Yep.
And that was Escape from Party Island. I hope you enjoyed the review. I liked this episode. It shows us more of Hank's past and how he feels about his mom and her fascination with miniatures. We also see a creepy side to Bill going after Peggy despite him knowing Hank was only gone for 2 days. But I do like how it gets resolved at the end, and you can tell Hank wasn't really mad about what happened. He let Bill know not to do it again, but in a way a friend would. Well, Hank's way, if that makes sense. It's obvious that Hank still sees Bill as a friend and doesn't hold any anger to him. I mean, he's known him all his life, so he knows when Bill says he won't do it again, he means it. That being said, what do you think of the episode? Let me know what you thought of the episode and the review in the comments. As always, your feedback means a lot, new viewers and fellow Hooties. And also, thank you, Party Hoots, for putting in your special Hoot in the Dark in this episode. It was nothing. I knew my knowledge of all things party would help out the review, and I can't miss out on anything party related. Speaking of which, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Parliament of Hoots today. And until then, I'll see you when you visit the Owlery again, and I give my hoot in the dark.
Cucumber sandwiches are delicious.
I don't like cucumber.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share with your fam, subscribe today and join the Parliament of Hoots. And also comment what you thought of the review. What are your opinions on said episode? Let me know in the comment section below. Your guys' opinion means so much to me, new viewers, and fellow Hooties. Check out the videos below, it'll take you to more of my content, and follow my other social medias, including Instagram, Twitch, and also Twitter, or X. Until next time, guys, I'll see you when you visit the Owlery again, and I give my hoot in the dark.